Daryl Morey absolutely just blew this whole season up. Or that's what Twitter would like you to think. What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the Sixers Breakroom. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, just go ahead and do that now. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All of those are going to be at Sixers Breakroom. Like this video, comment on this video. Let's boost that engagement and let's boost me through the algorithm. Now, a lot of folks have been talking on Twitter about how Daryl Morey absolutely ruined, messed up, just laid an egg at the trade deadline. I'm here to ask why, how, like, where did we come to this conclusion? I'm very confused. You guys, because I remember just a few weeks ago, or if you want to stretch it back even further than that, a few months ago, everybody and their mother wanted to trade Matisse Thybulle. Get rid of Thybulle, get rid of Thybulle, get rid of Thybulle. That's all I was seeing on Twitter. And now we trade Thybulle, and he ain't do a good enough job at the deadline. I was seeing all over Twitter, get Jalen McDaniels, get Jalen McDaniels, get Jalen McDaniels. We got Jalen McDaniels, and he didn't do a good job at the trade deadline. Like, I feel like our fan base is just never happy. It's just never happy, right? Shout out to iTest Eastwood. Shout out to running back Philly. Make sure you guys follow him if you're not already doing that. But he asked me on Twitter, he's like, what do you have for breakfast that you are always so positive about this organization? And here's the thing, I'm not always so positive. I feel like there's times where we make mistakes and we're not where we need to be and that we got to make improvements. We got to make some changes. I'm just not miserable all the damn time. I feel like sometimes as Sixers fans, we always looking for what's wrong instead of what's right. How things are going to go bad instead of how things can go good. There's like zero optimism. Now, I'm not even saying that's completely unfair. Listen, the past couple years have been heartbreaking. The past couple years, it felt like we could really make a run and we didn't, especially the Ben Simmons versus the Atlanta Hawks series, which we ain't even going to get into right now. So I understand the pessimism, but at some point, there's got to be some sort of positivity. This team is in a good spot. Yo, we have the third best record in the Eastern Conference with the best player in the Eastern Conference and debatably the best point guard in the Eastern Conference. Apologize if you hear some squeaking. My dog is sitting right next to me. She's been missing me all day, so she won't leave my side. It's kind of cute, right? But this team is in a good spot. And if we want to be honest, I said a couple weeks ago that we weren't going to probably make any big moves. And Daryl Morey just said it a week ago that we weren't going to make any moves because we got to be realistic. We got to understand that the moves that the fans want to make were just not reasonable to make. Like, yes, I wanted Andre Drummond just as much as the next person. But if you're the Bulls, what are you getting in return? Right? Like, you got to have things to give up. And how does a Matisse Thybulle or Furkan Korkmaz and Jaden Springer, how does that really help the Bulls? Like, we were really pitching this idea that we could trade Thybulle, Korkmaz, and Springer for Andre Drummond. You think the Bulls can't get something better than that for Andre Drummond? And if they can't, why not just keep Andre Drummond? Like, it didn't make any sense. And like I said, I want Andre Drummond. I'm not making it seem like he wouldn't help and we shouldn't add him and things like that, but it just was not realistic. I see people put all these trades through these trade machines and put the screenshot on Twitter. And just because it says success, they think it's a good trade. It says success because the money works. How many damn times do I got to look at these fake trades and see negative wins, negative offense, negative defense, but it says success and we're like, good trade. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Put yourself in the other team's shoes. Would you make that trade? Hell to the no. Because if you would have taken those guys in return for that person, you would just keep those guys. So it's like we knew we were trying to fleece teams. And unfortunately, Daryl Morey, who's actually making the calls and actually making the deals, he can't call up these organizations and tell them like, hey, John Roger 2199 on Twitter said that this trade works according to the ESPN trade machine, so let's get it done. That's not how it works, man. That's not how it works. So am I always so damn positive about this organization? No. Doc Rivers needs to step up. Our role players need to step up. Tyrese Maxey has not been playing well lately. I'm not over the top happy about this team. We just got our behinds whooped by Boston last night. I don't care what the score says. It felt like we got whooped by Boston. It felt like that was just a team that was just better than us. I'm not happy about that. But if you step back, just try to step back for just a moment and look at this team. Top 3 in the East. Best player in the East. Arguably the best point guard in the East. We play pretty well defensively most nights, and come postseason when the game slows down and you're actually locking in defensively, I think we're going to be a solid defensive team. Not perfect, but solid. Offensively, when you have Harden and Maxey and Embiid and Tobias Harris, you should be a pretty damn good offense. And if you're not, that's on the coaching staff. You better start coming up with some things that makes this offense efficient. It shouldn't just be, let's pray James Harden, Joel Embiid bails us out. The coaching staff need to step up. And then lastly, of course, the star players need to step up. Joel Embiid needs to step up in the playoffs and actually stay healthy and not have these accidents because he acting up. James Harden needs to step it up and not have these games where he just disappears in the playoffs and it looks like he quits. Everybody across the board has to step it up. But if you think that this team is not going to win a championship and it's because we didn't make a big splash at the deadline, you're wrong. That will not be why we do or do not win a championship. It'll come down to, can Doc Rivers and his staff get a little more creative offensively? Can the role players play better when they need to? Can Tobias Harris hit open shots when he's getting open shots? Can Tyrese Maxey start to score off the bench like he did in that first stretch? Can guys like Niang and Montrezl Harrell play their role and do it a little bit better, especially Harrell? And then, can James Harden and Joel Embiid carry us to a title? That's it. It is what it is. It has nothing to do with this trade deadline. Now, will we still add a piece? I think we will. I think we're going to be active on a buyout market. You look at a Nerlens Noel, who I think is going to get bought out and be available. There's a couple guards out there who I don't think that we need per se, but they're going to be available on buyouts. Like, I don't think our roster now is a guaranteed lock for what it's going to look like come playoff time. It would not surprise me if we find somebody on the buyout. What about a Serge Ibaka, right? Like, it would not shock me if we found a backup big in the buyout market. But even if we don't, this is still a team that can compete for a title. It's not a lock, right? They wouldn't be championship favorites. They're not a juggernaut. But you can't tell me you look at this roster right now and you're like, there's no chance that team is going to win a title, because they can. Do I think they're better than Boston and Milwaukee right now? Boston, I would say no. But does that mean that they can't go knock them off in a series? Of course it doesn't mean that. Think of all the times where we thought the Sixers were going to win the series and they didn't. Think about the series we lost to the Hawks. No, none of us would have said we were losing that Hawks series, and we did. So these things do happen, right? We are good enough to make it to the finals. We are good enough to win a championship. Okay, let's maybe I'm too positive, but let's be a little less negative. Sound off in the comment section below, man. Let me know what you think of Daryl Morey and the Sixers and the moves or lack thereof at this trade deadline. I want to hear from you guys, so let me know. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Don't forget to like the video, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Peace.